So guys, today we have yet another solo champion video, and that is Geomancer soloing Dragon Stage 25. And I have to say, this champion, Geomancer, when he first came out, I know a lot of people loved him, super big in clan boss, an amazing champion, everybody's known that. But until recently with Hydra, I really haven't used Geomancer to the extent and actually figured out how useful he actually is. And he's quickly becoming one of my favorite champions in the game, and I'm starting to think he's one of, if not the best, epic inside of raid. So incredibly good. So today we're going to be doing Dragon Stage 25 solo. I have over 100 runs done with him, and I'm going to show you guys the build that he has currently, and then we're going to talk about a few different things. So first off, while this is running in the background, let me pull up the images that I have over here. So this first one is going to be the run results. Let me share my screen so you guys can actually see it. This right here is the run results. We'll make it a little bit smaller so you can see Geomancer in the background. But right here, you can see down here in this small little text at the bottom. Let me zoom in a little bit. Boom. There we go. So the small text at the bottom, 124 out of 129 runs were successful on Dragon's Lair Stage 25. So 96%, that's kind of in the range where it's not bad. Like if you want to do a lot of farming overnight, you want to level your champions, it's a spot where if you're losing 5 out of every 129, it's not the worst thing, definitely not the best thing by no means whatsoever. But if you can push these stats up a little bit higher, Immortal Gear plus Regeneration is what I'm currently using, then you may be able to get that closer to 100%. Now, I did try this quite a bit, tried my best to actually get it closer to that 100% number, but if you're somebody looking to run Geomancer solo, maybe you don't have any other options, then this is definitely a very solid build to do. And keep in mind, with all of these champion solo builds, you don't have to run the champion solo. You could throw in 2 max level champions in here, get RSL helper set up, and you should be able to run 2 max level champions in here, make it 100% pretty easily with Geo. Obviously, if you're going to have 2 champions, you don't need him to be as geared as he currently is. Or you could go in there, change the AI settings, throw another champion in there with the AI, have 2 champions running alongside 3 other champions. So you're still getting the benefits of the Dungeon Diver, champion training, whatever it may be. Also, Dragon's Lair, of course. So you get all those benefits and not as difficult as far as the gearing goes. But this currently, it was 3 minutes and 31 seconds average time. Let me make sure this is set to the correct settings. Okay, 144 FPS in the background. This second wave right here is the area where I believe he was having the most issues. So Geomancer is an interesting champion in the fact that his decreased turn meter actually works against him sometimes. And what I mean by that is it makes his runs a lot slower and makes them really, really stall out. So his decreased turn meter, if these 2 people die, or if this person dies right here, this person in the back is constantly decreased turn meter, it's going to make the run take a very long time, which isn't a big deal as far as making the run successful or not, but it's definitely an issue sometimes as far as making the run significantly longer because his A3 ability, that's the full turn meter decrease. He's going so fast, constantly getting back around to that full turn meter decrease. So it definitely, like you see here, if that champion had a lot more HP, it would take a long time to work him down because he doesn't have a 100% crit rate. The only thing that I'm worried about with him is good HP, good defense, good speed, good resistance, and good accuracy. Now, as far as where he actually died, I think he was dying on the second wave. I didn't watch all the runs, of course, so I don't know exactly where he was dying. Sometimes the dragon looks a little bit weird, but there's one key detail that you have to have, and that is War Master. I tried running this without War Master, and it just wouldn't work because you need that extra damage on the dragon when you're hitting him, when he's hitting you, to get that little extra damage, so once it gets to the end, you're actually killing the dragon before he uses that last area of Scorch, which I believe scales off your max HP. So eventually, it's just a guaranteed to kill you. So you got to be careful about that. But other than that, I mean, 96% consistency. It's up to you if you think that's consistent enough, or if you want to try to push his gear a little bit higher. Obviously, make sure you're using your glyphs to the best of your ability. Make sure he's booked. Booking is very important as far as I know, because I do have mine fully booked right now. But make sure you're using your glyphs. Glyphs and books will definitely make it better, of course, right? Mine's booked. I don't know any other way to do it. Honestly, I don't know why you'd even consider using Geomancer without booking him, because he's so good in so many other areas of the game. Hydra is where I really use him a ton, and I will be taking him out of this gear once he finishes doing this test, because I do use him in Hydra way more than I would in Dragon, and I use him in Reflex or Relentless for Hydra. But for Dragon, he works very good. Now, if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I wonder if he can solo Ice Golem Stage 25. I had the exact same thought. The only issue is that with War Master being a requirement for Dragon Stage 25, on Ice Golem, it kind of works not so much in your favor. Plus, Ice Golem Stage 25, the second wave is very, very difficult, but there we go, 4 minutes and 26 seconds. Not too bad whatsoever as far as the time and the consistency, not the worst thing. But Ice Golem, the second wave, is a little difficult to survive through. Granted, he has strong affinity on Stage 25 of Ice Golem, but the actual Ice Golem, War Master procs can make the Ice Golem do the big slam. So I actually had some Ice Golem runs done. I just now delete the screenshot, but it was like 11 out of 15. I had 11 wins back to back, and then all of a sudden I had 3 losses. Nothing changed, so I don't really know what happened, but I guess it's just bad luck, bad RNG. So that one I'm not even going to share with you guys. It was the exact same build as he's currently in. So I don't recommend building that because 11 out of 14, that scales. It could be a very high loss percentage, and it's just not very consistent, especially out of so few runs. So go down here to Geomancer. Let's see what he's actually built and how you can build him like this as well. Now, another thing I want to mention is this build, I'm 99% sure can be scaled down to do stage 20 very, very easily, because I'm going to show you why in just a second. Stage 20 is weak affinity, so it's even better. He's going to have even more weak hits going out. So Geomancer, let's go to recently used first. Here we go. So click through his pieces of gear. This is exactly what he's been using the entire time. So speed, HP, defense, those are all the things I'm focused on. So the helmet, triple roll speed. This is definitely not super easy gear, but I wouldn't say it's like super high end either. HP percentage, we got some double roll speed. We have HP percentage as well, double roll speed. We have defense percent with triple roll speed. If you can get defense percent or HP percentage on the boots, very, very helpful. Now, one thing with Geomancer is his base defense is so incredibly low. So be mindful about that. You probably want to have defense pieces down here at the bottom because the flat defense is going to give you pretty big value because his base defense is so low that percentage stats aren't going to give you a drastic difference versus the flat stats. I haven't actually done the math, but definitely get some defense on him. The more defense you have, the better he's going to survive, right? Resistance on the banner. We have a triple roll resistance banner. I did get this banner, which I was using for him a little while, but it kind of skewed the numbers. This banner right here is a quad roll defense banner. It is so good. I think he did well with it, but I think this is a little more achievable stats versus the 3,200 defense with everything else. But either way, guys, this is a Geomancer build. Let's look at his mastery. So his skills, first off, he is fully booked, like I mentioned. He's fully booked, amazing champion. His masteries, I went with the defense and offense route because this second ability, Blast Proof, decreases damage received from AoE attacks by 5%. So the dragon does an AoE ability, and the Ice Golem also does an AoE ability. So I believe the damage received from those abilities should be reduced by that 5%, and I found a lot more value in this versus the support tree. Because to be honest, Geomancer goes fast enough where he doesn't really need the extra speed from the support tree, especially with Oppressor. Wasn't really an option. Maybe if you only want to make him do Ice Golem, maybe you could go Oppressor and not worry about War Master, because like I said, with War Master, he was doing too much damage. The Ice Golem was doing the big slam with both the minions on the side, and just wasn't working for me. If you have your Geomancer solo in stage 25 Ice Golem, definitely let me know. I'd be interested in trying it out. But so far, this is what's worked best for me. Little Blood Shield, it's nice if you get it. Not a big deal in Dragon because it's not actually going to do anything. And we have some Shadow Heal, really not doing a whole lot. So these are just the masters I have set up. The main thing is just War Master. It's the biggest thing. And then reducing some of the damage. Getting a little extra heals from Rejuvenation as well. If you want to try support, go ahead and try it. But if you stray too far from these masteries and the pieces of gear and you wonder why yours is failing a lot, then go back, build this exact same thing. Put your champion the closest stats to this as possible. Get your champion in Regeneration plus Immortal, and you should be at the same win rate as me. I mean, after 100 runs, I'd say this is pretty trustworthy, about 96% consistent. So there we go with that. Let me go to the next thing. So I'll try to compile a list of all these screenshots because I have a lot of different champions who have these builds. I'll try to put that on a separate list, separate spreadsheet or something, so you guys can access it without having to watch the entire video. But the one last thing I want to see, I actually haven't tested this yet, but this could be very interesting. So if you did Dragon's Lair stage 20, I bet you could have significantly lower stats on your champion because stage 20 is going to be a lot easier, right? Now, his turn meter reduction isn't going to do anything simply because the dragon's immune to turn meter reduction. But as far as the stats required, I can't imagine they're very significant whatsoever. Unless there's a champion who does cleansing on this, which there may be. The second wave, maybe not. I don't really know for sure, to be honest. The clear time was probably going to be about the same. But that 4-minute clear time, like I said, when he starts reducing the turn meter, it makes the run take a lot longer. If you can gear him for crit rate, could be good. Could definitely help him clear those waves that have the one person left, and he's just constantly reducing the turn meter. A lot of his damage comes from burn, as well as when enemies hit him. So every time somebody hits him, he's sharing damage to everybody who has burn on him. But if it's only one person, they're never taking a turn, they're never activating the burn, never hitting you, it's going to take quite a bit longer. But stage 20, I'd almost guarantee is going to be 100% consistent. I can't see any chance of him actually failing, except for the dragon, possibly. I guess that's where he was failing in 25. If the dragon scales and does the same damage, maybe. But I would assume he's hitting a little bit harder against the dragon as well. But I guess we'll find out in just a second. I'm curious about what the second wave is going to be. If the second wave is going to be cleansers, it's going to be a little bit of a problem. So we'll see that in just a second. Now on Ice Golem, I'm pretty sure Ice Golem stage 20 is Spirit Affinity, which is actually weak affinity for Geomancer. So really it seemed like it was either stage 25 or don't even worry about Ice Golem, because I think 24 was Spirit as well. Whatever it was, I wasn't able to find a stage that made sense for him to farm and actually try to do it consistently, because weak affinity, not going to be good for him to go against. And then neutral affinity obviously wasn't working on stage 25. He just wasn't having a good time against the Ice Golem, just dying too easily. But as far as like these stats go, typical solo champion masteries, 300 plus resistance. I've been finding better luck at like 320 resistance and then 200 plus accuracy for anything stage 20 and plus. So those are the things to keep in mind. You definitely make sure you have those numbers. Maybe you could get away with if you had a really fast speed on your champion. Maybe you could drop the resistance, but as far as I know, definitely keep the resistance, keep the accuracy, and you should be good to go. That was a pretty big crit. I guess his crit rate increase actually allowed him to crit. I didn't think he'd be able to crit against me. So we have not too many threats. Now, if both Hordens did crit me, that could definitely cause some potential issues. But so far, it doesn't seem too bad. People are going to be dropping pretty quickly here. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the dragon. We're going to see how that goes, guys. So we're at the dragon now, and it looks like he's doing a little bit better as far as moving through the dragon. We just now hit it, just like a few turns, and he's chunking the dragon pretty well. Plus, the dragon's doing weak hits. Granted, nothing other than Scorch was actually even a threat before. So it's going to be very similar on this stage. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that ability scales based on your max HP. Text enemies place a turn meter. The skill will be locked. It doesn't actually say. Places turn. The skill will be locked and hidden again if the dragon takes enough damage while the skill is unlocked. So I'm pretty sure it is based on max HP. But either way, nothing really serious happening here yet. That's like 75%. So 25% taken away, give or take. So stage 20, drop the gear requirements a little bit. You can do stage 20. I'm trying to lean these videos more towards stage 24, 25, because a little more in-game, and anything done there will translate to lower stages, especially if it's a champion who on stage 25 is neutral affinity, like Geomancer, and then on stage 20 is strong affinity, like Geomancer. So this is going to be easier. Flat out, it's going to be easier. Survive the waves, you're going to be good to go. Get good speed, very, very important. The more speed you have, the more heals you're going to get each turn. But keep in mind, could make your run a little bit weird if he's constantly reducing the turn meter and they're never taking a turn. But it's just going to happen no matter really what your speed is, because he's just going to get back around to that so quickly. It looks like this run is very, very similar to the stage 25 run in the sense that the dragon does a Scorch, gets him pretty low in HP. So maybe if he did less damage, maybe he would die on the dragon. So maybe it's not going to be 100% consistent, but I don't see him dying to the waves very easily, especially if you have good defense and good HP. So guys, that is the Geomancer solo stage 25 of Dragon. Thank you all very much for watching the video. If you have any more suggestions on champions to solo content, let me know. I'll be coming out with some for Spider very soon to prepare you guys for the Spider tournament coming up. But with that said, thank you all very much for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in the next one.